everyone. Peace. Welcome. Thank you guys for joining me. This is the usually weekly ceremony that I missed last week, but I did have an opportunity to make one today, so I thought it'd be a good time for us to get together. I know it's an hour late. I apologize, but there are some conditions, so I have to do what I can. I'll just wait for a little bit for people to join. I also have to update my what's it called? I need to tell my people on Telegram. With that said, I do need to know the link. Guys, you can let me know if you guys can hear me. Peace, everyone. Peace, 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 peace. It's very nice to be online. It's been a while. So that's all I can say, really. But yeah, no, I'm glad. So I'm glad that we're capable of coming together for another week by God's grace. So this is definitely in the name of God. This is definitely by the permission of God. I apologize. I don't have I have a good setup, a comfortable setup, so you just don't upset the people. But I mean, it's not as it was a few weeks ago. So, boom. Okay, cool. So, but yeah, no, welcome, and I'm very happy that you guys are here. Sweet, as long as the audio is good. Thank you, Dickie. Appreciate that. What's up, Top Cosmic? It's nice to see you. Sorry, nice. Someone. Peace, Dr. Adil. Thank you, Brother Ayham. Appreciate it. Yep, we're working towards certain things, obviously. Peace, Brother Zakaria. It's nice to see everybody. Simon says, how you doing? Zaid, Habibi Zaid, how are you? JS, peace, sister. It's nice to see these names again. You know, it's been a while for me to really keep up and try to see what we could do. Okay, so just a few prefaces. I am in a sensitive area, so maybe the internet can cut at any moment. Maybe I would have to go at any second. So keep that in mind. I will try to get through our discussion today. Habibi Abu Sulaiman. Peace, brother. Peace, Versatile. It's nice to see you guys. Apologize, I have to keep looking down, but that's where the laptop is. It's actually on my laptop. And yeah, let's just give it a few minutes until people show up, and then inshallah I will start the sermon. Today we'll be talking about middle nation, like how God called us a central nation or a middle nation. Peace, servant of God. It's nice to see you. Peace, brother. No, I'm like, I don't have a problem saying it now. I'm actually in Syria. So I was capable of getting into Syria. And I know I didn't say this before because I had to keep it a secret where I was, because it would just make people, it would have made it easier for people to understand on how to find me. But I'm technically back in my own country. So I am Syrian origin. I was born in Syria, in one of the oldest cities in the world. It's called Aleppo, Halab in Arabic. Aleppo is in the northern part of Syria. So for me to get back here, it's a little different, right? So I did have the opportunity to see some of my family members that some I didn't see for more than 13 years now, 14 years, due to the events in Syria. So coming here is quite surreal. But yeah, so the situation here is still a little different, to say the least. The electricity could cut at any moment. I do have some backup for me to keep going if the electricity cut. I do have some other issues in regards to safety. So that's all I can really say. We're close, I guess. So yeah, so that's exactly where I'm from. Yeah, that's very true. Actually, my part of my family and a small portion of my family, we were in the olive oil business for a very long time, for more than 50 years, a lot more than 50 years. So one of the things that they also produce in Aleppo, Syria, is it's called L'Oreal soap or Aleppo soap, pretty much, which is composed of L'Oreal, and it's also composed of olive oil, and it's a natural soap. So yeah, this is definitely something to hear. So the condition here, it's a little tough. So just so you guys know, so before the war, it used to be 50 Syrian pounds for $1. Okay, so this is in 2009. 50 Syrian pounds is $1. So imagine all the people that save their monies, they have their money and whatnot. Now, in 2024, it's 15,000 Syrian pounds for $1. So if you were rich back then, you became extremely poor all of a sudden because of the inflation of the currency. And if you were poor back then, now you can't do much. So like this is their 5,000 banknote, right? So like this is all 5,000 banknotes, and this barely makes $30, right? And someone here can work. They would work for a whole month, and they're getting paid 300,000 Syrian pounds, which is equivalent to maybe $18. That's their whole month income. Okay, guys. So this is how terrible that condition is. So you have to walk around with literally like this. This doesn't even make $100. Like, so you have like all of these are 5,000, their biggest deals. So I got this is all their money. That's how much you walk around with. Like you have to walk around with this much just so that you can get around your day, right? And this doesn't even make $100. See what I'm saying? I miss you guys. Salam. I appreciate it. People do need a lot of help here, so I have the ability, and thank you guys for a lot of people who did help when I did open donate me a pizza. So a lot of the money started to go around to the people here. You know, you give them 15,000 Syrian pounds here, like right, just 3 banknotes. It's equivalent to $1. But for them, they get to buy a lot of bread, a lot of food. They get to take care of a lot of their stuff with $15,000. I told you their whole wage for the whole month is $300,000 or 300,000 Syrian pounds. So it's been really good. It's been interesting. There is also always the threat of you getting kidnapped, you getting shot, you getting robbed. So the beard helps because people have a certain view for the beard here, so they give you respect when they see the beard, or they just try to avoid you, which is always good. But it's always nice to. Is there still a chance to donate? I mean, it's difficult to get the money in, so let's just put that on standby now. I'm not asking for donations now because for me, I want to give it 100% to the place, but this is not the end point. I don't want to. I'm not staying in Aleppo. Aleppo is just a certain stop for a moment, and I need to see the condition here. And there's also some people I needed to talk to, so I'm catching up to a certain few events, but there is a few stops, and if I get to this, like a few stops later where they would definitely need a lot of donations. At that point, if I can have a way of bringing the money in, yes, I will accept donations. That's why I don't open the donations. I don't like it's for me. It's not. It is obviously necessary for you guys to help, and you should help, right? But I don't want to take money and sit on. For me, it's I actually like when I did the donation for our uncle in Bangladesh, the person who got shot, like hurt. I mean, they beat him, tried to kill him, and they burnt his school and they burnt his place. I did a donation there and I collected the money, but it felt like such a hard responsibility because for me it's always the worry that even if it's like a $1 short, so I just I gave him more than what was donated just so that I would cover my tracks. So for me it feels like it's a scary responsibility, and of course God is forgiving and merciful as long as you're being diligent with the way that you're approaching the matter. But with that said, let's actually start the sermon. So, A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. I seek refuge to God from the accursed devil. In the name of God, the merciful, the gracious. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. So today, I just want to start with I would like to start with a verse, and the verse that we're going to be looking at is from chapter 2, verse 143. And it's just the beginning part of the verse. And thus we have made you a central nation, or in Arabic it says ummatan wasata, right? And so that you may be witnesses over the people, and the messenger will be a witness over you. Okay, so this right here, God is giving us a direction. This is something that we always have to keep in mind. Now, when someone says like a central nation or a middle nation or a middle people or a middle community, our religion is very known for trying to find the middle path, right? You can't be extremist in the way that you're approaching your religion, because at that point, people cannot relate to you. And it's a worldview that you might have that you can understand and that you can sustain, but not everybody can appreciate. So it's not very welcoming, and it's not very wise in approaching matters in a very extremist way. So yes, we always see that people are saying things as a joke sometimes, or making things where it's kind of hard to stomach. But you also have to show that tolerance and stomach it, because you don't want to express to the person that the religion is harsh and it's all bad. You want the person to wake up, for them to not make these incorrect decisions that they say it lightly in their mouths, but it might not be lightly for God, as God says. So you just warn them, and you move on. But at the same time, your religion shouldn't be extremely lax, that everything happens, everything goes, and the Quran is a book for you to read, and then you think about theological things, but nothing's actually getting accomplished. So you always need to find that central path, even when you're approaching on how you're calling people to God. Now, also with your mentality, you can't also be, you can rely on God. Obviously, we all have to do tawakkul, and we have to rely on God. And we have to 100% be relying on God at all time. But that does not mean now that we don't have a part to take. Like, oh, well, God's going to protect me, so I'm not going to lock my front door, and I'm not going to lock my car. I'm going to keep my window open, and I'm going to just I'll just put my money right here on the table, and I'll leave in the middle of a public place, because God's got it. God's taking over us, right? Or taking care of us. But obviously, this is not a good manner of going into the world, because God is clearly telling us that we also have to use our logic, because whatever actions that we take, whatever actions that we do, we're going to end up finding it ourselves later. So if the actions that you took, where you're not going to take the steps to protect yourself, then you're showing that you don't really care. So you're going to get what you pay for, kind of thing, if that makes sense. So I'm here to tell you. Okay, then. All right, dude. Thank you for telling me, but now you can not tell me anything else. I appreciate that. So with that said, now being also in the Quran, there are verses where God tells us that when you are going to spend, say in charity, do not overspend, like do not give everything that you got, so that you don't sit that, like, out of money or stuck in a position where you can't help. And do not give very little and like be misery with it. That you find the right path, you find the middle path for you to take. But the interesting part here in this verse, God did say to us that we're a central nation, so that there are many other nations around us. For me, this verse always expressed that me sitting in the center, obviously I have to witness over the people and what they're doing. But me as a person who believes in the message of God and wants to be a believer, God is clearly telling us what these middle path is. And we can find that in another verse where it's here. Sorry. This is in chapter 3, verse 104. God says, "And let there be a nation of you, believers, inviting to good, calling for kindness, and forbidding abomination. And those are the ones who will be successful." And then later in the same surah, God also says that you, the believers, are a good nation produced for mankind. You call for kindness and forbid abomination and believe in God. So God here clearly is expressing to us, and I didn't show you the verse, sorry. So here God is saying it right here in chapter 3, verse 110. You, as believers, are a good nation produced for mankind. You call for kindness and forbid abominations and believe in God. And then, as I said earlier in the same chapter, in 104, God said, "And let there be a nation of you, inviting to good, calling for kindness, and forbidding abomination." And we already went over the verse where God said that we are a central nation. Now, all these verses obviously connect together. So we're a nation that we're sitting in the center, we're witnessing over people, but our job is not to just look and tell God what we see, witness against the people or for the people on the day of judgment. But our job as the people sitting in the middle, the arbiters or the envoys of God's message or the representation of the Quran and the people of the Quran, our job is to build bridges. And to build these bridges, it does not mean that now we have to, us ourselves, become allies with the people that are not very friendly to what the message of the Quran says. But there are many people that claim that they believe in God. They say that they believe in God, they believe in the books that they've been given, and they are supposed to be a nation. God also in the Quran went as far as saying that the people who forgot part of what they were reminded, and this is more so the Christians, God, he cut them up and he allowed hatred and animosity between them until the day of judgment. But of course, within that community as well, there are upstanding people, people who recite the verses of God, who understands the message of God, and the message of God is for humanity to be a single nation, for us to work together. So us sitting in the central nations, for us to be in the dead center, we have to now try to help people cover these issues that they have. We don't represent the Sunni mission or the Shia mission. We definitely don't. But we need to be a nation that reminds with the Quran, and we have to forbid abomination. Splitting your religion and becoming sects and causing animosity, this is an abomination in the eyes of God. This is something God that never wanted us to do from the get-go. But God is so merciful and he's so amazing as a Lord. He keeps sending us reminders and prophets. Well, we don't get any more prophets, but he sent us so many prophets to tell us the message. He's telling us the message to stay united. Now, we see the divisions between the Christians, for example. Like, it is our job to try to bring the Catholics and the Protestants together, or the Catholics and the Orthodox together, and let them find their common ground so that they can become brothers and sisters in their own way of approaching God. And we have to do the same with the Sunnis and the Shias, because if we keep allowing people to get divided and us stay in the central nation, well, we're not really producing the good in the world that God is asking us to produce. Yes, I understand the majority of the world, they're fasiqun. They're people who are expelled, or people who are immoral, or people who disconnected themselves from the message of God, despite them saying that they believe. And the people who are fasiqun, immorals, the words have been fulfilled on them, they don't believe. But there are ways for you to remind them in what is helpful for them, because you could see the pain and the hurt that they're going through now. So we have a big responsibility as the people in the center to always try to keep building bridges between people, between the Christians and the Sunnis, and between the Jews and the Christians, and the Jews and the Muslims within each other, and the Jews within each other, and then American people with their politics, and then the Europe and what's going on with the war there, and there's all this problems with racism, and all this problem with sexism, and all this problem with wage and classes, and all this other things people keep putting down against each other. God wants us to be in the dead centers, the judges, the witnessers, the jury, right? And of course, we're not the ones who's judging from our hearts and wisdoms and desires. I like the color red, so the Republicans are right. No, we have to use the book of God, and we approach the humans and the people in a way that is acceptable to what is prescribed to us with God's book, right? So God has always enforced us to be a single nation. We are supposed to be the single nation in the middle. You know, I personally came to a realization, like, if someone wants to come and express his worldview to me, knowing how certain I am of my worldview, there is absolutely no point in engaging with those people. You know why? Because that person himself, he's not there to change his mind. He's not there for a discussion. He's there to teach you, right? And whatever he's teaching you, to you, you already understand that it's nonsense. Yes, you can hear his point of view, but there is no point of engaging. Because you could see how many people you engage with, but how much does it actually benefit and change? Very little. What you need to understand is this is their ability. This is what God has sealed for them in the moment that they're living in right now. People can obviously change, but we can't change them. They have to change what's in themselves so God can change their situation. But you judge the person's worldview by their situation. It's not about how rich they are or how much they have in the world. It's how they're approaching matters, how they're conducting themselves. It's not like, oh, someone said a swear word, now his worldview is no. It's how consistent he is with what he's showing you and displaying to you. So there's absolutely no need to always sit and discuss and engage with what you consider as an opposing worldview, because they're not going to change and you're not going to change. Who you want to be close with are the people who understood the message without you interacting with each other, where God led you to the exact same conclusion, because the conclusion is actually very clear in the Quran. Us, we can teach, people can come ask questions, we can engage in those certain things. But when it comes down to a debate, the debates should honestly be very short. God tells us to debate with wisdom and with good, like with wisdom and a good way of speaking, or which it's a dominate. What's the word? You like blah, blah, blah. I have to Google it. Not abomination. Maw'idah. Let's see if someone can tell me. The Maw'idah. Peace, brother. Quran alone is truth. Peace, Ariel. Peace, Steve. Thank you, brother Ayham. So yeah, like you can't exactly like they just bark online, and there's nobody changing the worldview. This is never what God has asked us to do, and this is not why the Quran was sent. You have to be able to recognize within the first 3 to 4 like exchanges if the person is actually here for discussion, or is the person here to prove his point. If he is here to prove his point and you already are set in your point and you don't want to discuss the point that you have, there's no point of engaging. How many debates have there been between Sunnis and Christians in regards to Jesus' divinity? How much did it help? Because the people who reach to the conclusion that Jesus is not God, it's not these debates that solidify their view. No, it's the lectures. It's the people reaching out. It's the people telling them, come read the book of God. This is how you make the progress. But recently I realized that this world is so polarized that everyone is so ready to defend their position to a person that doesn't want to listen. At that point, you're both putting sins on yourselves. Because if you as a believer, you know the certainty and you know the truth, and you know the person is not willing to accept your side or you listening, you no longer became in that central nation. No, you became now a part of a mentality that you want to prove it to everybody else when it's already self-proven. So now you're taking the matters in your own hands, and God told you, are you going to guide whoever God misguided or deluded? Are you going to guide him? No. So why do you keep trying? Why do you have to answer back? Why do you need to put the last word in? Yeah, it's nice to put the last word in, and there is ways to put it in a way that it's like the word has been put, and the only thing that the other person can do is give you an emotion, And it's very smart to detach from these conversations very quickly. The conversations that are beneficial are those people who are sincere, the people that might have a worldview, but they are actually genuinely looking. And the people who just want to keep speaking and talking about things and going in circles, you're wasting your time. You're taking the sin in the sense that you're trying to guide the person. And the more truth that you're expressing to that person, the more he's denying it, the more you're pushing him into the pain, possibly into a deeper fire. You see what I'm saying? So this is where the wisdom is. This is where God says also, it does not matter. It does not matter if you warn them or if you don't warn them, they're sealed. So there are a lot of people where we put this thing in our head like we have to beat them. And trust me, I know this feeling because I've experienced it many times with certain individuals where the man is so ignorant that you just want to show him how wrong he is. But no matter what you say to them, they're just doubling down, right? So at that point, it's just not healthy for you and your community, and it's not healthy for who you are as an individual, especially as a central nation. Those people decided to not be a central nation. Those people decided to not be the people who want to become one group. They want to have their own little sect, right? They want to have their own little tiny group where it's exclusive to them. Go. And what do? We stay in the center, we witness for them, we witness against them, and we try to keep building bridges. But the bridges shouldn't be between us. We don't need them and us to find a common, not common ground, like a common space or an ecosystem for us to both survive, because we're both surviving. See what I'm saying? God is feeding me and God is feeding him. But what we don't want to be doing is associating with people who definitely don't want to make the world a better place. They want to make the world what they think is right, which isn't a better place. They don't want to represent the message of the Quran, and this is applicable to across the board, from people in politics, from people from certain sects, from people within the Quran alone community, from people from all over the world, from all over mentalities. If somebody who's a very good Quran alone individual believer knows the Quran, but yet he's racist, is he really part of that community? Well, there's some aspects, yes. We can judge him that he's doing correct things. But in a core aspect, which is humanity, he's failing. Do I say now that he's not a Quran disbeliever? It's not for me to decide. But God is showing me the signs of this individual for me to judge correctly. So we are supposed to judge between the people in fairness. We don't need to be the ones expressing the judgment, but we need to have the judgment ready in our mind. Why? Because God gave us the ammunition. God gave us the Quran. God gave us the way to answer all problems. God brought down the book to the prophet so that the prophet would judge between us and what we differed with what God has showed him. So you are experiencing things in your life and you're seeing situations and events unfurl in your life. And then you're also getting what? The foresight and the after, like the foresight and after the event is done. So you have the hindsight and foresight of certain events. Why? So that when in the future, if you ever meet somebody who's coming through an example very similar to what God has showed you, where you got rescued because of a certain verse in the Quran, you know what to tell that person. You know how to solve that problem. The word islah in the Quran, it means to fix, to mend, to make things to make things correct again. So if I broke this door behind me, if I fixed it in Arabic, we say صلحته, like I fixed it, right? So we need to make the righteous acts is islah. Islah is to correct and fix and put things together. People, objects, trees, animals, whatever it is. The more things that you're fixing, the better it is. And of course, there's a different topic that can be talked about now, which is sorry, I just see messages that make me laugh. So there are other topics where there is the concept of efficiency. So you don't want to spend your time fixing something that's very minute, where someone else can, with their ability, can fix it when you have the capability of fixing something that's much bigger. Of course, nothing is wasted with God, and any good that you do is paid back to you. But there are also ways where you are kind of oppressing yourself if you're wasting your time on something that's so minute where you could be very helpful somewhere else. See what I'm saying? These are things that you always have to keep in your mind in regards to you measuring yourself and what you're producing in your day to day. These are all concepts that I have extracted by God's permission with what God has shown me from the Quran. It's about being a not lazy human being, so you don't show laziness. It's about you being efficient in the way that you're making this world as best as you can from what you have your hands. But I can't tell you that I'm doing my best, because that would be a lie. I'm not telling you that I'm doing enough either, because that's also would be a lie. Because this is the battle of the believer. The battle of the believer, you recognize that, like, when you're being lazy because you have an idea that you do, but you just want to be a little lazy. So obviously you're not doing your best. No one is doing their best, right? But we strive to do what we can with what we have, but there's always things missing. God clearly said in the Quran that if he punishes people for what they're doing is wrong, right? Like if God took the people for their misdeeds, there wouldn't be even a single fly, an ant in this world, because it wouldn't have been worth it. Because none of us are capable of keeping that purity at 100%. You can go from Adam forward. Every single one of us did something where it's worthy of us to not find God's grace, for us to fall off. And because of God's mercy, because of God's repentance, because of God's tolerance, because of God's amazing way of being our Lord, we always have that chance to just, I made a mistake, I fixed, and let me keep going. But how many mistakes are we doing daily against ourselves? Where on the day of judgment, when we look at it, be like, you know what? That 10 minutes when I sat there and watched those 2 extra videos on YouTube, I could have done the thing that God is telling me about now, and why I didn't do it. Why didn't you clean the dishes and you left it for the next day? Oh, well, it doesn't matter that I left it. No, it does matter, because you had the opportunity to finish it right then and there, and you just left it to the side. So these things are things that we really have to keep in mind. Now, Let me see some of the messages because it seems like, oh, Islam, thank you. Send me a link, Muhammad. I'm not here to debate. This is a sermon. But so, anyways, let the people do whatever they want to say. People in this day and age, they don't realize how much pain they're going, and they all are the lords of their own worlds, except the believers. Okay, except the proper submitters, the people who submitted the world to the God, and except the believers. Everyone else, whatever thought they get in their head, that's to them is the objective truth. That's to them is the reality. The man here clearly says that Islam doesn't make the world a better place based on what? Based on research? No, it's based upon his own decision. There is no system, like there is no way for him to express it. Because one, he does not know what Islam is for him to decide if it's good or bad. Two, he does not know what God is for him to decide if God is good or bad. And three, he's here to debate and argue. But after that debate and argument, he's going to sit in his boxer, probably light up a cigarette, whatever he's going to do for him to laugh about it in his mind at the end of the day and sleep, and nothing else gets done that day. So it's not very smart. But yeah, I am now just wrapping up the sermon. It's just some of these messages, it just shows you really the condition of the world today. There's just no more tolerance. There's just no more respect. There's just no more. Mastery is dead. You know what I'm saying? We got people, and this is in the Quran alone community. They'll read the Quran once, they realize that yes, the Sunnis fell into concepts of idolatry and shirk, and then they read the Quran once, and then they want to go and start to teach. Well, there's people who have mastered certain concepts, and they're the ones who have, by God's permission, the ability to speak. And while you have yet to take a few steps, you want to help people take certain steps that you have not done yourself. So this is where it's very difficult. Sunnah is the way. Yeah, Sunnatullah is the way. I started the conversation 30 minutes ago, and I expressed where I'm from and all of this. And actually, today is the first time I told everybody where I'm from. So, but to tell you again, I'm from Syria. That's where I was born. So remember that you're a central nation. There's fires happening around you. All these nations around you are slowly crumbling. Whether it's the politics of any country, pick any country in the world that politics is going through turmoil. It does not matter what country it is. Pick any religion other than the actual religion of God. That religion is going through turmoil. Sunnis versus Shia, Protestants versus Catholics, Orthodox Jews against liberal Jews, Orthodox Christians versus Baptists. All sorts of chaos is really getting to people's throats now, right? So scientists versus theists, or whatever it is, it's just us in the center. We just have to remember who we are and why we're here. We're not part of that ecosystem. We're just people that are here in the dead center to judge over the people who are outside of the center. You understand? They're in the little suburbs of this world that we're living in. And we don't want to make our own little suburb and we disconnect, and then we need another central nation to also watch over us because we're not willing to go into the world and make it into a better place. These governments, a lot of governments, they're very abusive. They're very demanding in the way that they want to respect, which you don't need to give that respect any way, shape, or form. But at the same time, it does not mean that you don't interact with them and show them the truth, because it's your job as a person who has to order in the good to tell them to do the good. And if you die along the way, you won. See what I'm saying? There is no fear. And at the same time, you're giving them a warning. Who knows? God might use you in that moment to give the word that needs to be given to these certain individuals that are leading communities, that the word gets fulfilled on them and you get a huge prize from God because God warned them through you. You don't want to be the envoy. You don't want to be the tool that God uses for God's deed to be done, and God does not need you. God has plenty of soldiers on the land and outside of the land as well, in the skies. God does not need a single human soldier, which there are human soldiers that God has picked whenever God wants to pick them. But God has his angels, and those angels don't fail. If God wants to fulfill his words, he can fulfill it without you. But don't you want that blessing? Don't you want to be part of that process? So I'm inviting you again, as my brothers and sisters, stay and become and think and reside in the center nation, in the middle nation. Make that change that you know is right, even if it's your family gonna end up hurting you or going against you or not liking you, because we're not here to be liked. You know what I'm saying? Trust me, I'm not liked. We're not here to be liked in any way, shape, or form. But the people who end up liking you tend to be some of the best people in the world, some of the kindest, nicest, most giving, most selfless people in the world. They're the ones who are going to end up liking you. And the people who, like the criminals, like, they end up hating you because you're challenging this this persona that they've spent so much building. So peace to everybody. This is the end of the sermon. I will be taking some questions if people have questions. Please, not too many. Not too many. Not too many personal questions. But if you guys have some personal questions, that's good. All right, thank you, bro. Do you want me to tell you how Moses punishes an angel? Is that what you want to hear? This guy punks Allah, but says nothing. Deaf, dumb, and blind. That's what God calls you. You can't listen. Maybe a couple of million Quran alone in the count, if you count Desis and Arabs and other communities. We're a big number, brother. Because I'll tell you, actually, here, when I got into like a few places now, because things are shifting, I got into like a cab. You know, like the gentleman here, he's not very intellectual. He drives a cab in a third world country that just went through 10 years of war. And I say to him, I was like, all I said to him is like, do you know why the condition here is the way that it is? I mean, from a religious point of view. The first thing he told me, do you know what he said? He goes, it's because they worship the prophet. That's the first word. I was like, do you know why, like, the world, like, our country is the way that it is, especially when it comes down to religion? He goes, yeah, because they worship the prophet. Like the cab driver is recognizing it, and then we have these guys that are students of knowledge that just are upset that you're not worshiping the prophet the way that they're worshiping. A'udhu billah, I'm not worshiping the prophet. I just talk about him all day. I just want to say what the prophet said outside the Quran. I just want to talk about the prophet's friends. I just want to tell you how the prophet told us to wipe our. This is what the prophet said. This is how the prophet. Salatu ala nabi, salatu ala nabi. Prophet, the prophet, the prophet, the prophet, the prophet. I don't worship the prophet, but the prophet, the prophet, the prophet. He's the best man ever. I don't worship the prophet. You guys worship the prophet. This is why we're not of you. That's why the prophet's got nothing to do with you, because the prophet was not a mushrik. It's very simple, brother. How can I not be safe when God is with us? But yeah, it's getting hairy. To be honest, the situation is getting hairy. Alhamdulillah. Yeah. Mentioning his name, that's not worship, you know. Assalamu alayka ayyuha nabi. Well, God told you in chapter 33, Inna Allah wal malaikatu yusalluna alayhi ya ayyuha alladhina amanu sallu alayhi wa sallimu taslima. Oh, okay. So it's like, no, Inna Allah wa malaikatu yusalluna ala nabi ya ayyuha alladhina amanu sallu alayhi wa sallimu taslima. We just lost electricity. So to them, it means you have to talk to him directly in your prayer. That's what it means. Peace, brother Tazi. Nice to see you. Anas. Allah says in the Quran, Al-Hajju Ashhurun Ma'lumat. Everyone knows the Hajj. To tell me where Quran tells you the month of Hajj is. So, yeah, it's very clear in the Quran. So you start with Ramadan and you go forward. So as long as you go from Ramadan forward, Ramadan forward, those are the 4 months. Because if you're going to think that Ramadan is not a month that is a holy, sacred month where the Quran literally came to guide all of humanity, then there's something wrong here. Exactly. Where you get electricity 4 times a day. Bro, who told you 4 times a day? You only get it twice a day. There's ways that we get around it, obviously, but it's only twice a day in Aleppo, at least. Why is it always people who are Quran alone don't actually know the Quran? Appreciate it. And why is it that people who claim that they are from Ahlus Sunnah wal Jama'ah don't know any verses of the Quran in the debate? Why do you guys never use the Quran in debate? Oh, ati'u Allah wa ati'u Rasul. Okay. What's that mean? Oh, it means to go to Hadith books. Yeah. إنه قول رسول كريم وما هو بقول شاعر قليل ما تؤمنون. So if that's what God is saying, that the Quran is the words of the messenger, you want me to go somewhere else, right? Hey, Where I am, electricity goes away 10 times a day. I thought you were in Europe, bro. All right. It's time to ignore certain individuals. Exactly. Brother, Ray, I thought Rayabi. Okay, you're absolutely right. Even around the Prophet, there could have been a big community at the end, but the actual amount of believers was very small. There's the people of the right, which they don't know the religion, they're just trying their best and they're going by what people are telling them. And then you have the hypocrites. And the majority of the world, unfortunately, in this day and age, are like these weirdos. It's like these weirdos. Like they just honestly don't know what they're talking about. Hmm. Brother, I know this might be sensitive, but what's your opinion on the beating verse? I think it means to strike, as in go on strike. I'm gonna guess chocolate lover. So that verse can be understood in two ways. There is the straightforward understanding that it says to beat, right? And then there's the other verse where it tells you where you could understand it to leave. Now, they always like to express this verse, and for me, I actually go with the second. Like, I don't think there is a beating, but there are in situations, there is some certain situations where physical force is required, not to beat your wife, but for subordination. It's not like the cops have to use physical force. I'm saying cops, right? So the police sometimes need to use physical force if someone is not subordinating to instructions and they're criminals. You see what I'm saying? I'm not saying that that applies to the wife. Now that verse in question, they always like to say that it's a step-by-step procedure. So first you admonish them. That's the word that I was looking for. No, first you admonish them, then you stop sexual relationships with them, and then you beat them. But it does not say thumma. It says wa, right? So it's saying and. So those three things have to occur at the same time. So at that point, it means to admonish them to stop having sexual relationships and to like strike them away, right? So you strike them away, which is what the understanding is understood from this part. Now, obviously, people like individuals like this man who just goes with what daddy in the mosque keeps telling him, he's going to think that this is giving him the right to beat his wife. Now, God clearly says here that if you sensed from them nushuz, it's not that if they did nushuz, if you're sensing nushuz from them, that's when you do those three steps, literally at the same time, right? So for him, it means that he has to hit her right away, or he's not applying the Arabic and the actual verse of what it's saying. So I'll pull up the verse. This is, I believe, 458. Let me just find it. Man, like people are weird, bro. People are extremely weird. I gotta find the verse. 1 second. Hold on. 1 second. There it is. And let's put it here. So, men are guardians over women because of what God favors, some of them over others, and because of what they spend from their wealth. Thus, the righteous woman will obediently guard in their absence by what God maintains. As for those whom you fear their discord, see, it's not whom they did cause, you fear their discord. So you understand that they don't want to be subordinate, then admonish them. Look, it doesn't say then, it doesn't say thumma, right? It says والتي تخافون نشوزهن فعظوهن واهجروهن في المضاجع واضربوهن. This is three times or three things that are occurring at once, right? So then admonish them, abandon them in bed, and renounce them. Renounce them here, Baba Shuaib is talking about like send them to their parents' house, for example. And look at this. After this, God says, and if you fear dissension between them both, then send an arbiter from his family, an arbiter from her family, if they intend to reconcile between them. So it's like there is a way, like And yeah, and if they wanted success, God will. So it's like there's already a disconnect where the families are already aware. So the families are trying to bring you together because you're no longer there. You're no longer there with each other. It's from how it from how it. You see, guys, I like ignorance is so funny. Look at this. So do you think the Prophet invented false hadith? Guys, do you think that the Prophet invented false hadith? Okay, no. Do you think Abu Huraira invented false hadith? 100%. Who do you follow? Abu Huraira. These guys are so weird. Allah sends devil. So yeah, so the verse I believe, Sister Chocolate Lover, is that it's regards to more so to tell them to move away. I keep finding this, brother. Abu Sulaiman, you're absolutely right. In so many things where people just their mind goes off track, it becomes a trinity. It always becomes a trinity. It's so weird. Here, our trinity is God, God, the Prophet Muhammad, and Bukhari. If Bukhari didn't come, we wouldn't know how to clean our butts. So I love Baba Shuaib, but don't you think he's a little bit harsh and makes communication less effective? Why would I comment on his style? If it's working for him, it's working for him. He has to do what he has to do in the way that he knows how to do it. Do I follow that style? I don't follow that style, but some people don't appreciate my style. So there's the style of Baba Shuaiba. See what I'm saying? So like I'm not making comparisons here, but I'm giving an example here. Okay, so Jesus approached life differently than how Prophet Muhammad approached life, but they're both obviously prophets and they're both messengers of God as well. But they did not approach matters in the same way. Someone could have clearly said that maybe Prophet Muhammad was a little bit more more harsh than Jesus, but there's clear verses where God is telling the prophet to be harsh with the disbelievers, right? So Baba Shuaiba takes that to heart a lot. So he's applying the verse more so than I would. So respect what you're wearing is better than that. It's only indoors right now. How safe is it for a Quran alone guy in Syria? It's not very safe, but they show me respect because they see that I'm actually trying. I'm here. This is my 4th day in Syria. 4th or 5th day, I don't know. No, actually almost a week. Yeah, 4th or 5th day. So what do you think of the order of revelations? It's irrelevant to us. God supports of revolution? Yes. How about right hand possesses? This is surely a reference to Stockholm syndrome occurring with captives of war. You cannot do anything to captives of war, and if you want to have to engage sexually with them, you have to marry them with the permission of their family. So you can't just do them. Okay, so if you were alive, would you follow? Yeah, I would follow what he ordered me to do. You guys don't know what it means. This whole concept that you're following his sunnah. If the Prophet ate from an apple tree, does not mean I have to eat from that apple tree. If the Prophet chose to eat with his right hand, does not mean I have to eat with my right hand. The Prophet is giving me the mentality of Abraham. The Prophet is teaching me the mentality of Abraham, how to approach things. The Prophet was not sent to teach me how to wipe my butt. Newsflash. The Prophet was not sent to tell me on which hand to eat. Okay, these were customs that they were already doing before the Prophet. The Prophet didn't get sent to tell me to drink water while I'm sitting. This is not what the Prophet was sent for. Do you understand that? I hope you get. The Prophet is not going to sit here I'll tell you this: if the Prophet ordered me to drink the camel urine, I would not drink it because it's going against what God said that God will not order in fahsha wal munkar. The Prophet is not my Rabb. You know that? But I know my Prophet would not order me to drink the urine of a camel because my Prophet is somebody who's holy and he knows the holy text. And it is the devil who orders immoralities. Okay. And drinking urine of anything, which is an excess at this point, it's an excess of something that is nasty. God is not going to order you to drink it. So the Prophet didn't say to drink the camel urine, but you guys said the Prophet said so. Why? Because it's just like how Christians say that Jesus said that he's the Son of God. And just like how the Hindus drink the cow urine, you guys do the same thing. So you guys are attributing things to the Prophet, which is clearly the Prophet would not do, because your own Hadith books, you guys claim that the Prophet was a walking Quran. So why would he do actions that would negate the Quran? God tells us to drink honey. You guys tell us to drink piss. Like, please, bro. Could Wusta prayer mean middle tone? No, for me, Wusta prayer is the night prayer. The first prayer is Isha, which is what they call Maghrib. The Wusta is the middle, which is night, like the deep night prayer, and then Fajr, the morning. Don't get blocked, Simon. Triple Y. For it to me, it didn't make sense, especially because men are stronger. You don't need to beat your wife. Put it down. If it's Sunnah, the Prophet never beat his wife. So, according to them. I have a genuine question. I saw your genuine. Chopping hands. No, chopping hands is chopping hands. I do agree there. Get rid of Bukhari. That's amazing if we could do that. Nushuz means leave. Nushuz could mean leave, but it's also, nushuz could be like expressing of like her not wanting to do what you're asking her to do. And obviously not like in certain things. Why do you censor someone for calling up? What? Why did you censor someone for calling to uphold your duty? Because I don't want to sit here and have this discussion with people who don't understand basic Arabic and telling me Salah doesn't mean prayer. That's just the stupidest thing I've heard. Like probably one of the stupidest things I've heard in my whole life. Like if someone comes to me and goes, oh, Salah doesn't mean prayer. No, you're just an idiot. I don't want to talk to you. And then you're going to come and admonish me. I'm telling you, I'm at a war zone helping in regards to a war. And he's going to come tell me to uphold Salah. Let him go bow down to his God. Let him go prostrate to the Lord of Adam. Iblis refused to prostrate to Adam. This idiot is refusing to prostrate to the Lord of Adam, and he wants to come tell me. I'm not censoring him. I'm blocking him off my channel. I don't want to hear him. He's got the whole world to go tell to that prayer doesn't mean Salah in Arabic because he's stupid. How's that go? I don't want to talk about that stuff. That's stupid. That's stupid nonsense. Oh, you see? Muhammad, why do you make yourself into another, whatever that word is, mullah? You guys are idiots. You guys are idiots. You're pushing people away from the path of God. Go do you. You don't need to come to my channel. I'm censoring opposition. You're not an opposition. There's nothing for you to oppose. Look at this. Why do you censor opposition? You're not an opposition. You're an idiot. You're deluded. There's no censorship. You have your whole internet to sit there and talk about it. I don't need to censor you. You're just an idiot if you don't think Salah has a ritual prayer. You are honestly an idiot. Like you have no concept of what religion is if you don't pray. If you don't have a ritual daily prayer the way that God outlined it for the Quran for you, if you do not do that, then you will sit and cry emotionally in my chat because you don't have a connection with God. You do not remember God often. You think you know God. To you, God is sitting online and arguing about Arabic words and trying to make them mean things that they never meant. Like it's so disgusting. It's such a, you guys are the biggest evil in our community. You guys are the biggest evil in our community. So why would I waste my time with evil? You guys are just so deluded. At least the Sunnis pray. Despite them talking to the messenger directly, at least 80% of their prayer is still prayer. You guys don't even do that. Appreciate it. And if you guys don't like it, just leave. I don't care. Leave. Leave. You and the Sunnis and everyone else, every mushrik can leave. You guys putting yourself in the position of God. Telling what it is 100%. It is 100% relevant what you guys say. You guys have absolutely no idea what the Arabic is saying. You guys come up with your own definition. What's the word salah? Following closely. What's the word salah? A connection. What's the word salah? Communication. No, it isn't. You guys are dumb. You guys are dumb. What's sujood? Oh, it means to submit. What's salah? It means to submit. What's salah? It means what's ruku'? It means to submit. Okay, then just go submit and go go do your ritual prayers and then come talk. You guys are weird. Get out of here. I don't need your time. How do you know that the prophet didn't come teach you all that? Because the prophet was sent, as God says, in the prophets were sent with the books, so that the things that the people differed in, right? The people that differed in, God is teaching us through the Quran how to solve these differences. This is why the prophet was sent. Because if I take, for example, I don't know who's a weird celebrity now, Justin Bieber. And if I start to act just like how Justin Bieber was acting, me talk about Justin Bieber all day, you will say that I'm doing celebrity worship. No man was sent to be copycatted. That's not how the world is. You don't have 7 wives to 9 wives. You're not an imam of a mosque. You're not a general in an army. You're not a religious leader. You're not a person who has to keep peace between cities. You're not a person who's teaching religion. So the way that he's living his life, my blessed prophet, there's absolutely no way for you to even reach close to that. So you eating the way that he ate, or you eating what he ate, is not going to bring you to that level. He got to that level is because of the way he was thinking. You see what I'm saying? He understood being efficient is important. Having ritual prayers is important. Having fasting, times of fasting is important. To read the Quran constantly is important. To deal with people nicely is important. The situations evolve. You see what I'm saying? Society keeps evolving. If my blessed prophet was living in this day and age, he would have a different sunnah. He wouldn't ride a horse. He would not need to eat with his hands. He would not need to do the left and right because he has running water. His way of approaching the religion would be much different, and he would excel much faster. Why? Because he has the help of technology. So he would have approached life much differently than he did 1400 years ago. Unfortunately, in the way that you approach religion, you want the world to live as if they lived 1400 years ago. The way that you dress and the way that you eat and the way that you express yourself is very old fashioned, that it's no longer compatible with the world, other than if you want to become part of a cult. This is why that approach no longer works in a modern world. And the prophet, I'm telling you, I'm not saying anything against my prophet. I love my prophet and I'm following my prophet. But the prophet left for me a book that is detailed and it's clear and it's complete as a book that God gave him. And this is what the prophet said. The prophet said the book that God gave him. And that's what I need to learn, because that's the book that the prophet used. Exactly. It's disgusting. Like, you see, like, yeah, like, oh, and you know what? I've never seen somebody take honey and go like, oh, I'm gonna drink honey. Oh, I can't believe it. Oh, Allahu Akbar, and then they drink the honey. No, but they do that with piss. Why? Why do you do that with piss? Why is it disgusting? Because that's your fitrah telling you this is not truth. Your own entity, your own, like, your body's telling you this is wrong. And then they go against what God programmed it. Say, no, the prophet's telling us. No, the shaitan is telling you, buddy. Oh man, I'm behind in messages. Brother Jam, salam. When Christians like to use hadith, because this is the only ammunitions they have against Islam, proper Islam, the only thing they use Islamophobes is hadith. And yeah, it's even hadith that the Sunnis themselves don't take. It's Sahih hadith, but the Sunnis themselves don't use. Why? Because the Sunnis know this is not applicable. So why is it in your book? Imagine, imagine God putting a verse in the Quran that it's not applicable, and it's such a vile verse. like it's just, it doesn't make sense. If it's from God, it would have no contradictions. It would make perfect sense, and it would be extremely logical. That's what the Quran is. But the other book, it's the complete opposite. It's full of contradictions. It goes against your mind, and you have to turn off your reason to believe it. Oh, this is not truth at that moment. Okay, yes, sir. Right away, not a problem. You just order, I'll do it, bro. Done. Here you go. Let me see. What are we doing? What are we doing? There we go. Boom. And when you have concluded the litany, then remember God standing, sitting, and on your sides. But when you are calm, then establish the litany. Indeed, the litany is upon the believers at decreed times. Yeah, this is after the war is done, brother. Don't you get it? You're supposed to follow closely on the horse. So it's such a silly people. Yeah, you see, this is why they're silly. This is why they're silly. Basic Arabic. You're assuming that the Arabic of today, even 1,000 years ago, is the same of Arabic of the Quran. No, but the Arabic of the Quran is the same. I'm not talking about classic modern Arabic. The word salah existed before the Quran, which means dua. So have a nice day. Go somewhere else, bro. I'm telling you, go somewhere else. Just don't waste your time. You're typing nonsense. I'm just gonna make fun of you because you're an idiot. You're an evil man that takes the people away from the connection of God. You're an idiot. Sorry, guys. I have to. This is how you have to deal with these people. They don't understand basic conversations. They're so deluded in their head. They think they're better than everybody, and they have such a deep. To them, oh, I understand the Quran so deeply. These words are so unique that a man in the desert will not reach these conclusions, but they reached it. The word ard, which means land, it's not land. It means the book, the scripture. No, you're an idiot. That's what you are. God is saying ard, it means land. No, you're just not at the level of thinking deeply like us. And then they smoke a cigarette and then they just sit there and they think they understand it. No, just leave me alone, guys. Please. Please. All right, sure. 6931. 6931. 6931. Man, you guys are a cancer. You guys are cancer. And you guys are going to eat your own selves up. I don't need to worry about you guys. I promise you I don't need to worry. Sallu. This is a different verse, brother. It's not Silah. It's not Salawu. Sallu here is a different root. Let me just share the screen. Here. ثُمَّ الْجَحِيمَ صَلُّوهُ. And then burn them in hell. So I'll just show you in the corpus real quick. Here it's like the fuel of the fire. Okay? ثُمَّ الْجَحِيمَ صَلُّوهُ. So he's going to be the fuel of the fire here. Here the word in 6931. It's a different root. And I'll show you the root so that you can see what I mean. Okay. See this? Share this tab. I believe you guys can see it. Man, it's difficult when it's so you see how it's Salah, yeah? Sad, Lam, yeah. Sali. Okay? Sali here, all of this is always going to be in the form of burning. Okay? Boom, boom, burn, burn, burn. So this is Salah, yeah. Salah wa. I don't know if I can get it. Let's see if I can get it like this. Salah wa. That's the form where it's prayer. Which prayer, the root, it comes from dua. Okay, so that's a different word. They look very similar, but it's a different root word. But it comes, okay, so there is something here again. They both Salah wa, Salah ya, and wa Salah, they all have a shared two letters, which is Salah, which has the concept of connecting. So for you to burn into something, there has to be, the fire had to be connected to you. Okay, that's why they use that word. And when you're praying to God, you're connecting to God. When you're calling up, you call upon God, and then you connect. That is the concept of what we would call as prayer, salah, right? And then you have, I take a cable and I connect it to something, and now there's a connection. That's called a wasal, right? So it's prayer is not a connection, but there is a form of connecting. And salu is not a connection, but there is a form of connection. Sali is a form of connection, but there is no, like it's not what we use as the word for connection. So you can't say salah means connection. Yeah, thank you, buddy. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. You are an idiot. Take care. You're an idiot. No, you don't speak truth. You're just an idiot. Like, you're just an idiot. It's like me, I'm telling you 1 + 1 = 2, and then you say, no, the plus sign, this 1,400 years ago, this plus sign meant multiplication, right? So it's 1, the plus sign, 1 = 1. No, you're an idiot. Leave me alone. Thank you. Brother, okay, so God says here in the Quran, he says, وَاتَّقُوهُ وَأُنِيبُوا إِلَيْهِ وَلَا تَكُونُوا مِنَ الْمُشْرِكِينَ. right? So be conscious of God, repent to God or turn to God, and do not be of the idolaters, the mushrikeen. مِنَ الَّذِينَ فَرَّقُوا دِينَهُمْ وَكَانُوا شِيَعًا. From those people who segmented or sectarized their religion, so they divided their religion and they became sects. So the people who divided their religions and became sects, God called those people mushriks, okay? الَّذِينَ فَرَّقُوا دِينَهُمْ وَكَانُوا شِيَعًا كُلُّ حِزْبٍ بِمَا لَدَيْهِمْ فَرِحُونَ. Every faction is happy with what they have. God calls those people as mushriks. Okay. So this is one concept of shirk that you're doing. I'm not calling you as the mushriks who are praying to multiple gods. You guys have concepts of shirk that is very similar to the Jews and very similar to the Christians. Obviously, you're not calling Muhammad the son of God, but you are doing concepts of shirk. So when you're in your prayer and you go, "At-tahiyatu lillahi wa salawatu wa salamu alayka ayyuhan nabi," this is also a form of shirk in your prayer because you're calling towards a different, you are doing dua to a different entity. You're saying, Ayyuhan Nabi, O Prophet, but the Prophet cannot hear you, especially in your prayer. You can't talk to him directly. That's a second form of shirk that you're doing. The third form of shirk, God says that if you obey the devil, وَلِئِنْ أَطَعْتُمُوهُمْ إِنَّكُمْ لِمُشْرِكُونَ. This is in chapter 6, I believe. 6. I'll show you the verse. So God is telling you that if you obey the devils, then you are a mushrik. It's very simple. There it is. Okay, so share this tab. And let's go back to here. So it says here, and do not eat from from upon which the name of God has not been mentioned, for indeed it is immoral, and indeed the devils will inspire to their allies to argue with you, and if you obey them, you would indeed become polytheists. وَإِنْ أَطَعْتُمُوهُمْ إِنَّكُمْ لِمُشْرِكُونَ. So when you're obeying the devil, then you're a mushrik. Now, I'm just going to put something in your mind. This is how we understand it. A lot of the things that you guys wrote about the Quran is actually, in the Hadith, and you attribute it to the Prophet. These are words of people that were allies to the devil. And they're ordering you to do things which you guys accept. So you guys think that the Prophet told you to do it, but it wasn't the Prophet. They just said the Prophet said so, but it's not true. Okay, you see what I'm saying? So you guys are now obeying things that the devil inspired his allies to do, which is a form of shirk again. And then the other thing is the book of Bukhari, you're saying it's 100% sahih, that it's 100% authentic. And this is also revelation from God. So whatever is in the book of Bukhari is also part of God's revelation, and therefore it's attached back to God, which is also the word of shirk. So the word shirk here, right, is being used. Why? Because you're associating another book to God, which is not from God. You're going to say, no, it's revelation that came down. That's your assumption. But the reality is, if it isn't from God, then you've clearly attached a book to God that it's not, or you attached words to God or hadith to God that it's not from God. See, this is why we call you guys that you're committing shirk, okay? But when the word mushrik in the Quran is talking about polytheists, people who have many gods, but God implicitly called the Jews and the Christians mushrik when he says ما كان يهودي ما كان إبراهيم يهوديا ولا نصرانيا ولكن كان حنيفا مسلما وما كان من المشركين. So he's saying he's not a Jew, he's not a Christian, he was a Muslim and he was not of the polytheists. So which would go back to the two entities that he said. Thank you, y'all. Ashley's gangster. Jigsaw, hey Muhammad, Salah means ritual. Okay, so Jigsaw, I'm not saying Salah means ritual prayers. Okay, I'm not saying Salah means ritual prayers. I'm saying Salah means pray. Very simple. Salah means pray. A way of prayer is ritual prayers. Sometimes in the Quran, when it's using the word Salah, it's talking about the ritual prayer. Not every time the word Salah is used means ritual prayer. This is super simple, man. Super simple. Super simple. Let's see. Yeah. Yeah. Anti-ritual doesn't make sense. There's no such thing as anti-ritual in Quran. Quran's teaching you discipline. Oh, okay. Yeah, yeah. So how do I say duty in Arabic? I'm gonna use the word salah. The only word that is consistent is duty and commitment. That's what salah means in Arabic. So, right. So everybody that thank you guys from the West to come tell us that the word salah in Arabic means duty. Like, have you ever translated the word duty to Arabic? Stupid, stupid. And how come it's being used as a verb? وهو قائم يصلي في المحراب. He is standing praying. He is standing dutying. He is standing dutying in the mihrab. What losers you guys are, just trying to change the word of God and delude people away from the religion. Anyone who says this nonsense should be ignored completely. You guys are a cancer. And then you all fail anyways. Khalikum. Khalikum al-Awnin. Stay damned. Yeah, you are 100% a bozo if you don't think the Quran is telling you to pray. You're 100%. You are 100% a bozo. You're 100% a waste of a proper believer. You're a hypocrite without. You're a useless idiot. Is what you are. You just repeat what people tell you without you actually looking into the thing. Go ask anybody you want in the Arabic PhD, in the Arabic language, in Christians, Jews, Muslims, whatever his background is. In Arabic, the word salah means dua, synonym. But salah is a specialized form of dua. There has to be dua for the salah to happen. That's what it means. You don't like it, go knock your head into the wall until we start using a word until we start using the word duty for salah in Arabic. Just get away. Get away. I don't want to ban you, but you should be banned. You guys are weird. I dislike you guys. You guys push people away from the religion. You guys make our life so much harder because we're sitting here like, technically with the Arabic dealing with Sunnis, but then they come by you guys and you guys start saying this nonsense and you make us look like idiots because you're idiots. Right, but drinking piss is not good for you, brother. It took me long to remove my sadness. Yeah, this is not truth. Yeah, I'm glad you're feeling better. Okay, I'm gonna jump all the way down because there's so many. Some Sufis did the same thing. My sister Yatima. I have something important to say. The people that say Salah is not a prayer and try to get out of the ritual prayer have gone astray like others before them. 100%. I'm telling you, from the beginning of the stream till now, anyone who wants to come and say that Salah is not a ritual prayer, you are an idiot. You are a misguided idiot that misguides other people from the way of God. You want to change the way of God. You want it, you know what I'm saying? You guys block people from connecting to God. So yeah, you guys are useful idiots who keep repeating a lie that the devil told somebody. And all of what you're saying, all of what you're presenting is extremely inconsistent when it comes down to the Arabic. I don't need your translations. I don't need Sam Garen's translation. I don't need anyone's translation. You understand? I don't need Baba Shuaiba's translation. I use Baba Shuaiba's translation for the people who are English speakers to try to get the message closer to them. And I don't have to sit and write my own translation. But in Arabic, when I'm reading the Quran, when I get to the word salah, in certain contexts, I know exactly what it means. You see what I'm saying? I don't need to sit here and think, oh, it means duty, because there's absolutely nobody in the Arabic language that does not know English and is just a single language speaking Arabic will go, oh, salah means duty. Yep. Salah means connection. Yep, that's what it means, right? That's how we come. Like the word connection means wasala, and I'm reading salah, it means wasala, right? Like I don't know what you guys are on, bro. I don't know what you guys are on. Like, yep. Hey, your ritual prayer, a ritual prayer, that's a duty. So that's why we're gonna use the word duty. And anything that's a duty now becomes salah. No, salah does not mean wajib. Like that's a wajib. That's a duty. That's something that's an obligation. You guys are weird, bro. Go learn Arabic and then come back. مدهمتان جنات مدهمتان. No, 11:107. Okay, let's see. Let's see. 11:107. Share this tab. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. What is the word? What is the meaning? Madamati. Oh, this is a mutashabih. Yes. So eternally therein, as long as the heavens and earth accept what your Lord wills. Indeed, your Lord is a doer of what he intends. Okay? Madamata. Madamat. Okay, as long as the skies and the lands is running, right? Then they are in it forever. This is for the people of the fire, right? So here people try to use this verse 106 and 107, which is a mutashabih. So this is, you could say, an ambiguous or like a where it requires another verse to explain it. So God is saying that the people who will be in the fire are unhappy eternally, as long as the heavens and the skies are existing, and that's except what your Lord wishes. So this is a test for us. Is God going to remove the heavens and the earth? Because if the heavens and the earth, after God recreates them for heaven, if he removes them, then both the people in heaven, in hell, cease to exist, and the people in heaven cease to exist, and God can still exist. And that's God is capable of doing it. Like God, but that would be breaking God's word, and God will never break his word. So it's a test for the weak-hearted or the ones that have a disease. But people also use this verse, right? 106 and 107. فأما الذين شقوا ففي النار لهم فيها زفير وشهيق خالدين فيها ما دامت السماوات والأرض إلا ما شاء ربك إن ربك فعال لما يريد. But then the thing is, God says the exact same thing about the people in heaven. As for those who will be happy, وأما الذين سعدوا ففي الجنة خالدين فيها ما دامت السماوات والأرض إلا ما شاء ربك. And as for those who will be happy and in the garden, they will be therein eternally, as long as the heavens and the earth like keep going, extended, except what your Lord wills. So if God wanted, he can erase or remove the heaven and the earth while we're sitting in paradise, and everything ceases to exist, including ourselves. So this is where it's an ambiguous verse or a mutajabih verse for people with a disease in their heart to be shown. Wait, there could be a chance that God removes it all. So we don't stay in heaven forever, and we don't stay for hell forever. God can make it disappear. Yeah, and nothing exists except God at that point. So God is clearly saying that he could do it, but he will probably do it. And then at that point, you went into no ritual type prayer, no ritual type thinking. So this is where these verses are very important for you to pay attention to the verses around it and all the verses in the Quran before making a claim. Yeah, that's exactly what they are. They're just because we've escaped from a concept of shirk, which is present in Sunnism, right? Or in Shiism, we've decided to leave that. The devil sits on the straight and narrow. Now they want to make themselves as the people who are explaining what the Arabic is. And they put themselves as lords of others. And yet they can't find their ways. So it's a classic trick. Yep, that is very true, my sister. It's very true. I don't care. I will defend the prayer till the day I die. And anyone that doesn't want to pray, go follow closely your devils. Just leave me alone. Mal'ooneen, cursed and damned. The electricity right now is not doing salah. الكهرباء لا تصلي. If I said that in Arabic, people would crack up laughing. Yeah, the guy was like, what do you mean? Muhammad. Sorry, Anas, you asked earlier, I didn't see it. Muhammad. Mustakhraj book authors who narrate hadith bypassing Bukhari and Chain and having same text never met fabricated same things. No, but they would have had the same source. So if somebody of the Sahaba, let's assume Abu Huraira, was lying and repeating the same lies to different groups, then you're going to have different isnads and different chains. But can it, okay, this is a very nice question, Anas. Now, let's say we have an established chain that's sahih. Can I hijack that chain? Can I say that these people told me and say whatever I want at that point? Or I heard it from those people and say the exact whatever I want at the end. So those chains couldn't have been hijacked. And also, I would suggest for you to learn when it became a standard to use the isnad. Because for the first 100 years, 150 years almost, there is the concept of isnad, but it was not mandatory. It became a mandatory in the mutawakkil period. Because during the mutawakkil period, they had a lot of internal fightings between the siege. This is the opposite period, way after the Umayyads. They had an internal fight between the Sunnis and the Shias, and they wanted to, like the Sunnis wanted to reject Shia Hadith, and the Shia wanted to reject Sunni Hadith. So this is where the isnad became a standard and became important. Because the whole world, most of the world hate believers, Brother Corpus. Okay, I'm going to skip many messages because I'm sure there's many. I have to go back all to the bottom. I'm sorry, I'm skipping messages. It's very difficult to keep up with everybody's. 50 years ago, gay meant happy. Now, what does it mean, Muhammad? Oh, okay, yeah. And 1,400 years ago, prayer meant dua. What does it mean now? Like you see how stupid you are comparing the word gay with prayer. Well, stupidest things. Yeah, sure. Oh, no, the word salah is literally dua. So have a nice day, bro. Yeah. So do you have a daily ritual prayer? Do you have a daily ritual prayer? Do you do daily ritual prayers? Very simple question. Do you do, and how many times do you pray a day? Please, bro, go have a seat somewhere else. Oh, be consistent. We're using an Arabic language and they wanted to translate it word for word to English. If that's possible, then it would have been an English Quran, you weirdo. Have a nice day. Sooner or later. What's up, brother? Salam, Habibi. Do you think that some words in the Quran are synonyms? C 15:1-2 and 27:1-2. Do you think Kitab and Quran are synonyms? Synonyms here, Kitab and Quran would not be synonyms, but the Kitab can refer to the Quran, but the Kitab can refer to something else. There is the concepts of, I personally believe in concepts of synonyms in the Quran, but the word itself is a synonym. We would consider it a synonym in English, but in Arabic, it has just a slight different variation of the same concept. But then it can be used interchangeably. So for the example, the word balasa, okay, mublisun, right? And then qanitun, for example, with the ta, right? Those are all both despair, right? But one is a different type of despair and another one is a different form of despair, but they're all both despairs and they can be used interchangeably, and the Quran would still make sense. And there are many places where God does use words interchangeably that have similar synonyms, but it's telling you that the both those niches of those words is applying in both things. فكانت من الغابرين قدرناها من الغابرين, like غابرين, sorry, I'm trying to remember a word where the word changes, but it's still consistent. And the two forms or the two different words with their small different niches are applying in both separate locations. So yeah, there is obviously in Arabic there is synonyms, right? But it is giving you a little extra explanation. Oh no, I want to go up. Do you accept translations of the Quran? Do you guys accept translations of the Quran, Muhammad? What do you mean, like accept translations? Any translation needs to be compared to the Arabic language. So, but we accept the Quranic in Arabic. I read it in Arabic. When I say in the morning, when I pray, I read in Arabic. I let them. Guys, look at this guy. He's so. No, just shut up. Just be quiet. Be quiet. You don't know what you're saying. You can't use the word duty. Translate it back to Arabic. He's going to put salah. No, it doesn't mean salah. Duty does not mean salah. Salah is dua. Simple. Calling. Simple. Simple. This is literally, linguistically, the word salawah is dua. That's it. That's why we say the word prayer, because you pray to God. God prays on you. God, He's telling you to pray on the prophet. God is telling you that the prophet used to pray on people, and his prayer, okay, on those people was like uh, something that was pleasing for them. I gave you something, go pray on it. Go pray on it. Go think about it. Go pray on it. Do you think some words and okay, so yeah, let me go back all the way at the end and let's see the hate. Bro, you see this? Like here, bro, here, like I'm gonna say one more thing and I am gonna block you later because I just had enough of you. You're just a weirdo. You guys are weird. Let me show you. Like, I like when non-Arabic people are going to come and tell me how Arabic works. Yeah. Well, no, that's the Sunnis' excuse. Yeah, Sunnis actually say that excuse to you, yet you guys, like some of you, don't know the Arabic. So it's a valid excuse against you. But I don't hear that excuse. They don't come to me and say, well, you don't know the Arabic. So they don't use that excuse to me because it's not fitting. But for you, you're lacking basic Arabic grammar. So why are you talking about a language and telling me about a language that you don't know how it works? Because the people who are telling me all this nonsense about what ritual and non-ritual and what these words mean, you guys do not read and understand and talk Arabic. It's not about 1400 years of all this nonsense. Even if I go to Shakespearean English, there's a grammar set that the grammar has to work for those sentences to be correct. Okay? In Arabic, Quranic Arabic, there are grammatical rules that are present that needs to be in place for the word and the sentence to make sense. You guys negate it. You guys don't care about it. You guys don't know it. You guys don't know how it works. So you guys say stupid things that don't fit the Arabic, and you go, "Oh no, those are not rules. Those are not there from the get-go." Then you don't know how Arabic works, buddy. Just let's see. كيف ما هو المعنى? Let's just do this together, so you guys don't say I'm cheating. Share this tab. There you go. ما هو ما هو المعنى اللغوي لغوي. I don't have Arabic keys. So اللغة. No, I spelled that wrong. اللغوي لكلمة الصلاة. What is the linguistic meaning of the word الصلاة? Okay, cool. Okay, so now translate to English. I can't even spell English. Oh, salah means supplication or turning to God with humility. That's what it generally means. You see what I'm saying? That's what it means. Now, in Sunnism, it means to the act of worship that becomes with takbir and taslim and saying the recitations of the Quran, remembering physical acts like ruku and busuj and suj. We're not telling you to follow their way, but we're telling you literally the word salah means supplication or turning to God with humility. But the word I keep telling you, it's dua. What is dua? Supplication. So that's linguistically what it means. Now, there is a way in the Quran that God is telling you what the context is. I'm so tired of giving you guys these free Arabic lessons. Like, it's done. Like, you guys are idiots. Just leave me alone. I'm telling you, you guys are idiots. You guys delude away from the path of God. You guys break the verses of God. You guys confuse the people, and then people end up being lost. And then when you idiots, and I keep calling you idiots because you guys are doing something extremely stupid and extremely dangerous, when the Sunnis interact with you and see this complete confusion that you guys cause to the Arabic language, Then they use that against the people who are trying. So you guys are useful idiots. If you do not have a ritual prayer, then you're just a moron. And if you're going to sit here and tell me that how the Arabic definitions are, that nobody in the history agrees with you, then you're also a moron. Like, hey guys, let me see. Let me just pick here. Oh, the word assumption. This guy's talking to me in English, but he doesn't know what the English is. Okay, no, you're bringing your assumptions to the word assumptions, right? Is truth. Okay, the word assumption means truth. So you're bringing your truth to the Quran rather than using the Quran to explain. The word explain means to wash. Okay, so rather than using the Quran to wash itself and gives its own definition, just be quiet. Get out of here. Leave me alone. You guys are weirdos and useless to me. You're not even part of me. Like, you guys are so weird. Like, I'm so tired of you after all these times. You guys are so weird. You guys are tiring because you just keep going in circles. Yeah, I am. Yeah, I'm bringing my own definition. You're acting like we bring our definition. Yeah, you bring your definition from literally, you just pull it out of your pockets. Okay? Yeah. Connection, right? That's 100% representation of what you are. This is 100% of what representation of what you are. You guys are useless. You guys are useless. You don't know the Arabic. Khanzir doesn't mean pig, right? Khanzir means rotten meat. And then the other idiot next to him is, oh, you know what? Khanzir doesn't mean means, and dam doesn't mean blood, right? It doesn't mean blood. Maytada doesn't mean dead, and hudhud is not a bird, and salah is not prayer, okay? And like ruku' is not kneeling. Sujood does not mean prostrate, and water, man, is not water. Like, you're useless idiots. Oh yes, you're super purified. Go get you purified somewhere else. I had enough of you. I think I gave you enough Arabic lessons. Hey, I'm gonna censor you. Get the fuck out of here with your useless minds. Useless garbage that keeps deluding people. Makes my life hard. Useless garbage. Astaghfirullah al-Azim. God told me to be harsh with you guys. I'm going to be as harsh as I can because you guys are useless idiots. Useless idiots. There's no religion in the world that tells you do not pray other than Satanism. Because, brother, they're useless idiots. Imagine somebody going around here. You're a Sunni. Astaghfirullah. I shouldn't be using language like this, but it irks me. Imagine somebody, you're a Sunni, okay? Imagine somebody going around in the world and telling people that you don't pray. You're not allowed. Praying to God is paganism. Praying to God, going putting your head to ground and to your Lord and to submit physically, wholeheartedly, spiritually to your Lord, he's going to call you a pagan. And he's saying that this is what the Quran is saying. That person is deluded in his mind and he is an enemy. Can you answer my question? Yeah, just 1 second, Zigzag. Give me 1 second, buddy. Let me find it. Muhammad. Here we go, bro. You guys are weird, man. If salat is dua, pray, how do we pray according to the Quran? If I help a person or be grateful to God, does that count as a prayer? No. That counts as a righteous deed. That's not salah. Okay? Salah is you calling upon your Lord in the context when it says iqamat is-salah. The performing of the salah is you calling upon your Lord, right? Dedicating yourself in that moment, reciting the Quran, and that's you now establishing the prayer, and then you also reflecting on the Quran as God tells you, and then after it's done, when the Quran is being recited, either you or someone else has recited it to you in the form of prayer, you prostrate, and then you exalt your Lord, and you ponder about what's said, and then you do your dua, which at that point, you have to have exaltation to your Lord, you have to say greet in peace as well. So you greet your Lord in peace. And the end of your prayer, the end of your dua, the end of your salah, you would say, Walhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Now, God gave you the times of the prayer and the length of the prayer. I know in their minds, it's all twisted. When God says pray at the two ends of the day, waqim salah, perform the salah, perform the prayer at the two ends of the day and portions of the night, right? Those are the times of prayer. Okay, then God clarified it, told you the length. from the setting of the sun till the twilight of the night. That's the first prayer. And then Quran al-Fajr, that's the recitation of the dawn. That's the second prayer. Okay. And then portions of the night. Why? The more you do at night, the closer you get to God, and God will send you, if He pleases, to a maqam and mahmudan, to an upstanding position, or a worthy position, a praiseworthy position. So that's, but you feeding a homeless person, that's if someone who's not a Muslim, okay, who does not believe in the Quran, and he fed a homeless person, that person do salah? Absolutely not. He did a righteous deed, amalan salih, as God ordered you to do. Ma'ruf is what that is. So don't get it confused because idiots don't know what the word prayer means. Yeah, but buddy, the whole world who understands how God has a relationship with the human knows that prayer is something that's extremely important. From the Jews, the Christians, to the Buddhists, to the Hindus, even the mushriks. Even the mushriks at the time of the Prophet, they used to clap and whistle. Like, so they all had a concept which they did, which is completely stupid. But God is, but why? Because people had this all the way from the time of Adam, all the way from the time of Noah, Salih, Hud. And Abraham said that let my seed be people who perform the prayer. People are weird, bro. Oh man. Like, you know what? I know we had a rough, listen, brother, we have a very, very big mission on our hands. And I know that you're a Sunni. The mission is to try to get away from the falsehood. So these people are masquerading as us. These people are masquerading as the people who are the people of the book. They are the enemy within us. Okay. You guys, on the other hand, you are people from the outside. You guys are also technically we are in an opposition as those people are in opposition. But you would confuse me with him. Imagine me confusing you with like a Shi'i. You would not appreciate that, and you don't like you to get painted as a Shi'i. Despite you guys having differences, you're technically from this. But this individual here, he's a munafiq. He's not even a sect. If they were a sect, then we could understand that. Like for me, if someone's gonna make a sect, it would be like, for example, a flat earthers. They can make a sect, but they don't make a sect. But anyone who comes and tells me that they're representing the message and they're saying that there's no prayer, these people are committing a crime. Like these guys are committing one of the biggest crimes against God and the believers. It's such a terrible crime. Like they're gonna see on the day of judgment that all that they said was complete nonsense. Most of it was complete nonsense, and they were pulling people away. They were pulling away from Sirat al-Mustaqim. So yeah, they need to be like, they need to hear who they are. You're putting words in the brother's mouth. He didn't say you can't pray. He said Salah isn't limited to pray. Salah doesn't mean duty. That's what I keep saying. But he's saying that Salah does not mean ritual prayer. Salah does mean ritual prayer. And Salah means prayer. You see what I'm saying? Salah does not mean just ritual prayer. That's iqamat Salah. But Salah means prayer. It's very simple. Salah means prayer. Okay? I'm giving you something. Go pray on it. What does that mean? Does that mean now you're going to put it and now do sujood on what you gave you? No, you go think about it and you're connecting in your mind's connections. That's where they get the word. But you have to do some sila to it, right? And the salawah is now you're putting it into a religious context. There has to be now a religious setting to it. So it's not just dua. So if I say, yeah, paywati, I didn't do salah at this point. I said, this is me calling you dua. But God is telling you what salah is. God is calling to you to get you from the darknesses into the light. God is calling upon you to get you from the darknesses to the light. Okay, now I'm calling up to my God to remember, to reflect on the Quran, and then I prostrate to my Lord. What is the problem for people who do not understand this concept? But anyways, this is done. This is done. And again, it does not mean duty. Simple. Cool. Let the people go. Alhamdulillah. Thoughts on abortion. When it comes down to the Quran alone, my understanding is the Quran doesn't mention abortion. God obviously does not want to give a life. But there is a concept. If you look, God gives you two dates. I believe the first one is your mother carried you. I have to get the two dates. But there, it shows that there is a 3 months difference. حملته كرها وفصاله في عامين, which God is telling you that like she lifted you and she weaned you for 2 years. And then there are other, and then God gives you a month time as well, which includes the 2 years, and then it's giving you like 6 months windows. Yeah, I would have to. I believe. Yeah. No, and by the way, the reason why I'm being harsh, and maybe I shouldn't use that language, but it just got to that point, because I want them to leave my channel. I'm so happy when they leave me a comment that I don't want to talk to you or I don't want to watch you. I'm fine. Leave. And when life is becoming terrible for you, and you're finding that the doors are closed and you've been saying so many lies about God and you don't see yourself actually progressing, and then you stand up in the time you're supposed to stand up and you do the ritual prayer as God has told you to do the ritual prayers, and then you realize how stupid you were and your mistake is, and you repent for your mistake, me and you are friends. I don't need to say anything. But until then, please leave. Go. I have nothing to do with you. So here, yeah. So God says here, let me put it up for you, Lord, for you, Omaki. God says, and we have advised the human beings to be good to his parents. His mother bore him in this state and gave birth to him in this state, bearing him and weaning him for 30 months. See? So here, it's 30 months. And then the other one, and I have to get the other one, which is 31:14. So if I go to 31:14, really quick, buddy. I don't know. Oh man, I gotta go soon. Tomorrow's gonna be a very weird day, I'll tell you that. 31. There are some armies that are actually like building up here in Syria now. So subhanAllah, God helped me come at the right time. Yep. So here God is saying, and we advised the human being about his parents. His mother bore him in weakness upon weakness and weaning him for 2 years in order to be thankful to me, and your parents to me is the destiny. So as you can see here, that here his mother حملته أمه وهنا على وهن وفصاله في عامين. So وفصاله في عامين. So here God is giving you 2 years, which is 24 months, right? And then God here is saying that in this one right here, so we have 2 years in the first one, and here it says 30 months. Here it says حملته أمه كرها ووضعته كرها وحمله وفصاله 30 شهرا. Right? So here God is talking about lifting him. Here God is saying it's 30 months. This is both bearing him and weaning him. It's 30 months. So we'll take these 30 months, right? Calculator. I can't share the calculator, but let's just do the Google calculator. 30 months minus 24 months, it's going to give you 6 months. Okay. So when God has said, when God is saying that here, وَفِصَالُهُ فِي عَامَيْنِ, right? Weaning him is 2 years, right? And the hamil in the other verse is 6 months. So she lifts you for 6 months and then she weans you for 2 years. So, but your mother lifts you for 9 months, where she doesn't lift you, but you're in her belly for 3 months where she isn't lifting you. And then there's the 6 months where she does have to carry you in her stomach, right? So it can be understood that the first 3 months, you're technically just a bunch of cells, that you're not living. But this is, again, an ambiguous way of approaching it. Why? Because you could be a living cell from the first day, and God knows, right? God knows that when you are actually now considered an entity that's not worthy of being killed. So the verse is saying about lifting. Yes, the first 3 months, there is no weight for her to technically be lifting. So it doesn't feel like her lifting. So it's not necessarily talking about abortion, but some people understand that those first 3 months, is that if the person has a complication, or if the person is not capable of carrying it, or if she was raped, for example, a'udhu billah, then it could cause that person um, to have that issue. Yeah. Brother, there's pizza everywhere you go. Right now, I can't have it here. Peace, sister. Right. But again, as I said, like you have, I would not force a girl to keep a baby if she was molested. So the first 3 months, I think in that window, you can. But if you're getting rid of the baby just because you got pregnant and it's like with your husband and all, then you're in that's you being bad. Brother Rami, I know, brother. Exactly. So this is what I'm saying. Why would one kill something God placed there in the first place? To me, it's difficult to think about a rape victim. I think, or someone that has certain complications that it would kill them. So because there is an action for that action to be caused. But yeah, you should avoid abortions. Is the thing. Here, brother, you must make an initiative for Hajj arrangements. Hajj has become a luxury thing. uh, but the last time we had to walk into the desert to get to Hajj, it would be awesome to have a bunch of people go on the same trip. Muslim Lantern had to correct Brother Muhammad's Arabic and he got angry. But if you're trying to interpret the Quran, you should know basic Arabic. Right, because I made incorrect diacritics when I was reading it. But that's him being who he is. It does not mean that I'm bad in Arabic or I don't know what I'm reading. I struggle reading English sometimes. Thoughts on Hezbollah. What thoughts is there? Thoughts on Hezbollah. Hezbollah is a force that's actually trying to do things. Obviously, they have their complications with their doctrine and their aqidah, or their doctrine. I hope God gives them the victory against the Zionists, because the Zionists is a lot more oppressive. But as Hezbollah, I wouldn't have a problem working with Hezbollah. That's for sure. But I wouldn't ally with Hezbollah. And obviously, there's certain Sunni groups. Well, I'm in a region where they're both present. I get along with them. I get along with both sides. Both sides don't know who I'm representing. This is always the funny part. They both don't know who I'm representing. But the biggest destroying force here internally, which seems like it could be coming back, is ISIS. Those are the terrible human beings. Yeah, see, like I do appreciate that. No, you see, you could do physical prayer if you want. God does not forbid it. No, God orders it. This is where you guys are playing your word games. It's not about, oh, it's nice for you to do it, or it's okay if you want to do it. It's you have to do it. You see what I'm saying? This is why you guys delude away from the path of God. It's not if it's nice to do. You have to do it. And if you aren't doing a ritual prayer ritually, you know what it means ritually? Like it's a ritual. It's not Sunni prayer. It's not Shia prayer. It is a ritual. That's their form of a ritual prayer. Okay, there's concepts in what they do, they've added to what the original ritual prayer is. Okay, but the ritual prayer has always existed because God clearly outlines it in the Quran. It's not a nice to have, it's a must, it's a mandatory. Bro, with wisdom, he didn't get what I said. You see what I'm saying? There's in that interview, and he goes, "How do you wash your face?" I was like, "I take water and put it into my face." And he goes, "How do you wash your face?" I just at that point I said, "With wisdom," and he started making fun of me, ha ha ha, with wisdom, because they call the hadith wisdom, right? They say, "Oh, the book, the kitab, is the Quran, wal hikmah, wisdom is the hadith." So they need the hadith to wash their face. So how do you wash your face? I said, with wisdom, and then he starts laughing because he was like, oh, that's ridiculous what he's saying. Yeah, it's ridiculous what you guys are saying. So he was laughing at himself. He just didn't realize it. Because later, if we kept pressing it, well, what is the hadith? Hadith is wisdom. So, okay, you wash your face with wisdom. I've answered this many times. The code 19 is something that's pleasant to know, but it's not a whole religion. Peace, sister. I didn't say peace to you. I apologize. All right, back to the comments, of fresh comments. When you're trying to start a Telegram group, I already have the Telegram group, brother. The Telegram group, I will put it right here. T.me, our Lord is gone. Okay, so here, can you explain why Ibrahim Nabi wanted to sacrifice his son? Because he got a dream from God. So to him, he believes everything is from God, right? So he believed that this is God ordering him to sacrifice his son. Why? For me, personally, I understood it is that the angels, the messengers came and told Sarah, the wife of Abraham, that he will get, that she will have Jacob, and she will have Isaac, and after Isaac, Jacob, right? So that's the promised seed. And then Abraham got Ishmael, but Ishmael is not from Sarah. And it is understood that Abraham went faster, or like he kind of like got a son outside the one that he was promised. So it's very easy for God to test him by saying, like, this is not the son that I promised you. And I don't want you to love this son more than what you need to be doing. So sacrifice him for me. Or this son can be causing you many problems in the future, and this son is going to cause a lot of heartache for the world. He needs to go, as in chapter 18. Remember, there was a child, a young child, that was still young, and a man came and just killed him, right? So Abraham could have got a similar command where this child could be problematic, so please sacrifice him. And at that point, Abraham just submitted. I'm going to do it because God is wiser than me, and I'm not going to love my son because Abraham really wanted the son. It's obvious Abraham constantly asked for a son. He wanted a son. And the first son, it's like, okay, are you willing to sacrifice what you wanted back to God, because you have to sacrifice it all? And he said, yeah. And God saved him. So he didn't end up doing it. But this, to me, I live my life like this. So if I get a dream where I find it's a vision, there's obviously dreams where it's like I cannot accomplish it, or there's dreams where it's a warning that if I did something, I would be in trouble. Those dreams are there for their purpose. And then there's dreams where it's like you're seeing something that you can accomplish, so you accomplish it. I'm in Syria because of a dream, to be honest. So, and I wanted to go a week after that. I wanted to go. But even when I was booking my plane, I had enough signs telling me exactly when to go. And the way that I came into Syria, it was super easy. And trust me, it is extremely difficult for people, especially in the condition, and especially me being asked by a few other agencies, like government agencies. It was extremely simple and easy for me to enter Syria. And I don't have my paperwork, which like Syria, my Syrian brothers and sisters in the chat will tell you this. Syria, comparatively, for the Middle East, Syria is like the North Korea of the Middle East. That's all I can really say, okay? So the president here is very similar to the North Korean president. So if you don't have the right paperwork, you could be sitting in prison for a very long time. All right, guys. I believe I do have to go. It's almost getting close to 2 hours. Which Muslims say 3 low? Everyone knows and understands 5 prayers. Okay, I'm just going to quickly tell you something here. You don't pray 5 times. You pray 3 times. You have 2 times of tasbih, which is your noon and dhuhr. But you guys keep calling it a prayer. It isn't. So if you look in chapter 17 of the Quran, I'll pull it up for you so you could read the verse together. And this is where you said that Muslim Mandarin was making fun of me. I'll read it the way that he wanted to hear it. And the point still stands, right? The point will still stand. Okay. Rahman. Here it is. Here, I'll say it for you. And in a way that you will find acceptable. But I would bet that you don't speak Arabic, or maybe very little. قل ادعوا الله أو ادعوا الرحمن أيما تدعو فله الأسماء الحسنى ولا تجهر بصلاتك ولا تخافت بها وابتغي بين ذلك سبيلا. Muhammad was upset that I said salataka instead of salatika, which does not change what I was trying to say. But anyways, God says, and do not be loud with your prayer and do not be silent with it, but seek a way in between. Okay. Now you, Ahlus Sunnah wal Jama'ah, you say you have 5 prayers, but you have the dawn, right? You have the dawn, you have the fajr, noon, dhuhr, you have the asr, afternoon, you have the maghrib, sunset, and then you have the evening, the night. Okay, so God clearly states in the verse there, right? Do not be loud in your prayer and do not be silent with your prayer, and find the middle way, right? So that's what God is saying about your prayers. Fajr, you find the middle way, you say it out loud. Dhuhr, you don't say it out loud. Okay, so that's not a prayer. Asr, you don't say it out loud. Okay, so that's not a prayer. Maghrib, you do say it out loud. There's your prayer. Aisha, you do say it out loud. So how many prayers are there? 3. What are those 2 times? Tasbih. And those 2 times are in the Quran. And so is duha, the one after sunrise. And you guys have an optional time of tasbih, which you call a prayer, is after duha. So I think we're on the same page, but you just don't know the difference between tasbih and salah. Muhammad, answer the response above of if you have to. What? I don't see it. But I don't want no questions above that. What? I don't see it. Muhammad, can you answer my response? Thanks. Where is your response? Where is your response? You can do physical prayer. I already told you. You can do. You have to. It's not you can do. You have to. I already told you this, and I don't see it. And Muhammad, can you answer my response? Thanks. I don't know what it is. You can retype your response. All right. I mean, if dua is bow down to God and glorifying, then why does all power God need to glorify him physically? You know what? You don't even have to talk to God. Why is God asking you to say things out loud? God knows your thoughts, so just don't say anything. Everything in God's book is measured. Okay, everything is measured from your thoughts, from you to say it, and everything has its level. Okay, me to sit here and spiritually submit sujood, to prostration to God, requires a certain set amount of. I eat food. Okay, let me take it to the very basic. I eat food. Food has certain calorie. Calorie is energy. I spend this energy for my day to day. Okay, the more I spend for God, the more I get reward. Okay, I'm talking like a stone man for you. I take calorie. I do physical prostration. I do mental prostration. More energy required. More God happy. More God pleased. Me do mental prostration. No physical prostration. I get reward for that calorie give for God. So which is better? More calorie given to God or less calorie given to God? More calorie. 1. 2. Physical prostration, it has its symbology. It has its symbolism behind it. Sorry, symbology is not a word. It has its symbolism. I am giving this symbolism to God. As people who are humans, they have prostrated to each other in kings and queens. So my God is the king, so I will give him the same respect. 2. 3. God told you to do it physically. Yeah. No, God didn't use the word. Brother, go find it. Go find it. Go find it. Hey, you know what's funny? God says this is where you guys like slap yourself. You heard what I told you. God does say about the congregation prayer, it does not mean it has to be on a day of Friday. The name Friday or Al Jum'ah was given to that day of the week after the Quran came down. Okay, so that day of the week had a different name. They chose for it to be on that day, that's the day that they're going to come together for the congregation. And God said, وَصَلَاةُ الْجُمَعَةِ. So that's the exception. Okay, on Salat al-Jum'ah, is he loud or is he quiet? No, he's loud. So thank you for proving the point again. Oh man. You exactly, like you cannot escape it. You cannot escape it. You really, God says, wasjud waqtarib, like prostrate and get closer. Like there, for me to sit here, just to sit and pray to God and try to get close to God, and I can like get really emotional in my dua and really say the stuff I want to say to my Lord, but it's uncomparable. It is uncomparable. It's not even close when I'm prostrated and talking to God, grounded on my face, just in that moment. You guys are weird, man. No, okay. You guys have a lot of questions, and I can't scroll up, bro. If you wanna, but in the Quran, Allah does not mention He is the one who gave the dream about sex. What? What do you mean? Everything's from God. God. You can attribute it to the devil, or you can attribute it to God. Abraham's not going to attribute it to the devil. He understood that it's from God, and he had to understand why it was from God. Oh, look, the Futra is talking. God knows and you guys don't know. Yes, but God is saying you can move it to a one Monday and it still makes sense by the Quran. Yawmul Jum'ah. It's not the day of Friday. It's the day of gathering, the day of Jama'. Jum'ah is congregation, buddy. All right, guys. I do have to. I had like a terrible headache from the get-go. So, okay. So I hope you guys remember our talk at the beginning in regards to how important it is for us to be the central nation, for us to forbid evil and forbid obscenities. I love you, sister. Thank you. And I love all my brothers and sisters as well. So the conversation at the start was about being part of the central group, the middle group, the central ground, trying to build bridges between the people, pushing the obscenities and abominations and ordering in righteousness. There's also then, so then from there, I just had to deal with the non-ritual people, the people that say that the Quran has no rituals in it, right? Those individuals, unfortunately, skew the message of God, and they don't know what they're saying. And then finally, we had a few questions and answers. Guys, I always loved doing and talking to everybody. I don't know what the future holds for me. I really don't know what the future holds for me. This was by the grace of God that I was capable of doing this. I have no idea what's about to occur. I am I'm glad. I'm happy with God. Obviously, God is with me. But I will have to disappear extended periods of time, and there is a possibility of you guys never hearing from me again on Earth. Right, that could happen at any moment. And alhamdulillah, I would be doing what I wanted to do. I would be upholding the Salah in the physical world. I would be doing my part that God has ordered us to do. So I think the situation in the world might be coming to a very dire way, and all these storms and all these floodings in the West, I believe, is God answering a lot of the pain that's going on in the world. Guys, the people who are close to my age, people who are 40 and below, okay, 40 to 20, 25, 20, you guys, unfortunately, if the world carries on, like the grace of God, you guys, unfortunately, don't have much of an opportunity to do much in this world if you already don't have much. I'm going to be very point blank with you. You're not going to be the people who are like the baby boomers to get to build, to buy houses, to buy cars, and to enjoy a nice life, raise kids and whatnot. You guys are actually going to be the turning point for us to help the generation that's coming after us. Because this generation is a kid that's going to grow up that are much younger than us, they're going to see some of the worst things in the world. They're going to grow up where it's very difficult for them to understand why things are the way they are. Imagine those kids that are 5-year-old to 10-year-olds having to live in Germany and the UK during World War II. It's just those children really went through some terrible and difficult times trying to understand the world, and they grew up with a lot of psychological issues. Those are our little brothers and sisters, and some of them are our kids. So we need to understand that whatever we'll be doing now in this day and age, despite how much hate there is, most of that is going to disappear because you're not going to have a way to communicate with each other effectively with this internet as we know it today. God knows. But those children are going to need a lot of love. And I do advise you, despite how the world stops you from literally talking to children who are the future of the world. So I really do pray, like my last wish, I don't know if it's my last wish, but for people to recognize their childhood and how things were very important to them. Because a child does not understand all of this conversation. They don't know this. You know what I'm saying? But what they know is basic feelings that we all cherished as children. This is being stripped away from them because of the decisions of the generations before us. Those are the criminals that want to destroy and hurt the world because they didn't care about us and they definitely don't care about our children. But I do implore you and I do suggest and I do push you that any child in the world, however much he's being a little poop head, just keep showing them love. Tolerate, give and keep mentioning God to them in a nice, polite way. They don't play anymore because they're just so busy on their tablets and their whatever. And who cares what people think? Those children need a lot of love because what's coming is very difficult. If whatever's coming is coming. So that's my last wish. And God willing, I get I love this. I love it. It was such a weird feeling. I'm Big Banks here. See that? Told you. This is like close. This is more than a million Syrian pounds, but it's not even $100. You get in a cab, he asks you for like $15,000. So yeah, people thought they're rich, and now all this money is useless, especially in this country. And their kids are very hurting. I said, I leave you with peace, and may the blessings and peace of God shower upon all the believers. May God rescue and help support all the believers as He promised He would. And keep up with your prayers. And if you're not praying, pray. Appreciate it. Have a nice day. Bye-bye. Bye, Sister Khadija. Bye. Don't pray. When God is telling you to pray, don't pray. Bye, Sister JS. Salam, salam, salam. Sister Ashley, Brother Wolf, Abdul, Sab, Top, Habibi, and Biggie. All right, guys. Peace. No, I made a mistake. Cancel. I was about to leave without ending the stream. Salam.